I visited Tommy Robinson in prison a couple of weeks ago, and he's being treated in a satisfactory way. He's in isolation in a prison, within a prison at HMP Belmarsh. Given how many Muslim prison gangs there are in the United Kingdom, it's probably for the best that he is where he is. When I saw Tommy, he told me he was receiving adequate meals and medical care, and that the guards were courteous enough. It's outrageous that he's in prison at all just for doing journalism. It's outrageous that the mainstream media doesn't care. Or if they care, they support his imprisonment, but at least he's not being starved, threatened, and physically and psychologically tortured like he was last year at the prison in Onley. But what if they move him from Belmarsh? That's the one thing that worries me, because they moved him last time. I don't know if you remember, but when Tommy was put in prison last time, he was put in the hospital ward at a prison called HMP Hull. In a way, it was like Belmarsh. Tommy was the only prisoner in the entire wing, so he was safe. He had a visit with his family. They saw that he was doing fine, and then literally the next day, the day after his family met him and saw he was doing fine, the prison authorities moved him to a different prison. No notice, no explanation, no appeal. They just moved him from probably the safest prison to the most dangerous prison. And when the prison governor, the warden at the new prison, the dangerous prison, HMP Onley, said that for his own protection, Tommy had to be put in a tiny cell in solitary confinement for 10 weeks in a small box, no human contact, no TV even, 23 and a half hours a day. And the half hour a day they let him out, it was to walk him around the inside of the prison where the Muslim prison gangs would shout insults and threats at him. So 23 and a half hours of silence, half an hour of screamed abuse. 23 half hours of silence, half an hour of abuse being screamed at him for 10 weeks. And they starved him, feeding him just a can of tuna and a piece of fruit a day. They wouldn't even let him buy any more food, even with his own money. You saw how thin he was when he finally got out. So I spoke with Tommy's wife, Jenna, yesterday, and we agreed that I would continue to visit Tommy until he gets out, to make sure he's fine and stays fine, and to give him some company, of course. But to inspect his treatment in prison, I think I told you last time the guards tried to pull a bit of a fast one. They tried to change his rights to get visitors so that visitors had to talk to him through a plate of glass on the phone, as if he's some dangerous serial killer who would have beat me up or something. I'll be candid, I made such a fuss about that. I thought they were going to throw me out of the prison, but instead they backed down. And I think it's for one reason only. They know that if they mistreat Tommy, I will raise bloody hell about it in the media. See, they've practically silenced Tommy himself. He's been kicked off Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. They've cut off his funding on PayPal. He still has a YouTube page, but it's been hidden by YouTube. If you search for Tommy Robinson in YouTube, you will never find the page. So they've silenced him effectively. So they can do things to him in the darkness now, which is why I want to visit him just a few more times to make sure they don't change the rules on him capriciously, like they tried to do when I was there last time. And more importantly, to make sure the prison authorities and the warden himself, the governor of the prison, as he's called, knows that if he thinks he can move Tommy Robinson or put him in a box again or starve him again or do anything like that, someone is watching, and that someone is me. Now, I know it's crazy to come all the way from Canada to do that. Believe me, it's crazy. I made a funny time-lapse video of my trip last time, 7 hours each way on the plane, plus 2 hours each way by train and taxi for a 1 hour visit. I know that's crazy, but I just have to see for myself. I'm sorry, I don't really trust anyone else. And even Tommy's dear family. Well, let me put it this way. If you were Tommy, and if something bad were about to happen to you in prison, would you really want to tell your wife and kids? Probably not. You'd probably want to spare them the stress, but you would want to tell someone. I want to be face-to-face with Tommy. His family can visit him on other occasions. I just want an occasion where I can have him and his full attention. He can tell me candidly what's happening to him. He can say it right to me as candidly as he wants to be. Obviously, his family gets first dibs on all his visits. So anyways, that's why I'm going back. I'm leaving tonight. I fly overnight. I sleep on the plane. I land in the morning. I take the train into the city. I visit Tommy in the early afternoon, and then I fly right back to Canada that same evening. No hotel. I'm sleeping both ways on the plane. I bought an economy class ticket, plus train and taxi fare each way. The total cost of my one-day trip to visit Tommy, planes, trains, and automobiles, it's going to be about 2,000 Canadian dollars, which is about 1,500 pounds all in. If If you can help me cover the cost of it, please do. The only way we can afford this is through crowdfunding. If you think that he's fine and he doesn't need to be checked on anymore, then don't worry about it. I'm worried. If you're worried that they might move him or change his treatment like they did last time, please help me get over there. Or really, the best outcome is that they just might be thinking of doing a stitch-up like last time, when they moved him last time, but that they know I'm coming to visit him every week or two, so they decide not to do it. That's my real hope here, is that if they're thinking of anything, they'll back down, just like they backed down when I called them out on changing his visitor privileges to talk through a glass wall. I made a fuss, they backed down. I said I would tell the world about it if they went through with it. They blinked. That's really why I'm going back to see Tommy, to stop them from trying any shenanigans. So please help if you can. Go to prisonreports.com to chip in a few dollars or a few pounds, and that's where I'll post my videos when I get out of the prison. I'll post a video immediately on Twitter the moment I get out of my visit with him, and then I'll do a longer video on YouTube, and I'll put those on prisonreports.com, and I'll send you an email update too. So that's all starting tonight. I'm getting on the plane tonight at 8:30 here in Toronto. When I visited Tommy in July, he asked me to keep visiting him. I spoke to Jenna yesterday, and she said the same thing, so I'll keep my promise to them. He's been in prison 28 days now, if I'm counting right, so he's not quite halfway there. As you know, the judge sentenced him to 9 months in prison, but after various calculations for time already served and whatnot, he'll be out in a total of 66 more days. So he's almost halfway through the 66-day sentence that he actually has to serve. Let's just make sure he gets out of there alive. If there's one place that Tommy Robinson is in real jeopardy, in my view, it's in prison, because he's helpless there. He can't defend himself there. There's no scrutiny of what the other prisoners do to him there, or what the highly political prison authorities do. That's why I'm nervous until he gets out. So let's keep watch over him for the 38 more days it is till he's free. Just 38 more days. If you can help me do that, please do. Please go to prisonreports.com, and I will give you the news tomorrow. Thank you. I'm visiting Tommy in prison to make sure that he's well treated and not abused. If you want to help fund my travel there to inspect things for myself, I'd be very grateful. Please go to prisonreports.com. That's also where I'll be posting my video reports.